Welcome to Today in the Garage. I'm your host, Samuel Clark. Today in the Garage, we're going to be rebuilding a Petcock for a 1997 through 2003 Honda Valkyrie. Specifically, I have a 2000 Honda Valkyrie touring model, but the Petcock on all of the Valkyries from those years are the same. I've ordered a rebuild kit from one of the online retailers, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So get ready for Today in the Garage. Here's what we're going to need to rebuild the Petcock. The only tool you're going to need is a Phillips head screwdriver, and then you're going to need the rebuild kit, which comes with a spring, the large diaphragm, the small diaphragm, and an O-ring. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and open up the Petcock. I'm holding my finger over the top of the cover here so that the spring that's already inside doesn't actually force this up once the screws are out. To be fair, the spring's not really that strong, but you want to make sure that you don't have your components just strewn all over your workspace. Okay, the screws are out. We're going to keep those over here in a nice, safe place so we don't knock them on the ground. And we're going to go ahead and open the top cover, and we're going to pull the components out one by one, making sure we know the direction and the orientation of each piece. The 4 screws have now been removed from the Petcock, and you're going to want to go ahead and remove the top cover and the rest of the components. It would be nice if you could sit this flush on the table, but you've got the lever here in the back, which doesn't really allow that. One thing you can do, take a couple of pairs of pliers and just kind of set it in there in the crevice. Again, it's not exactly bolted down, but you can at least work on it on a level surface. At any rate, the top cover comes off, and then you've got the spring. The next part that comes off is going to be this plastic part right here. And you'll simply pull that right off. Now, I'm actually going to set it over here with my other pieces because my rebuild kit did not come with another plastic piece. The large diaphragm goes there, and then you have the metal piece here in the middle. Finally, you've got this metal piece here, and you will reuse it, and your final small diaphragm. You can also take a look inside the Petcock and make sure that everything looks good. I don't see any scratches or areas of buildup, so I think we're good. I'm going to set it back down in place, and then we're going to go ahead and rebuild it. The first thing you're going to put in is the small diaphragm. You can tell that the small diaphragm goes in with this piece first right here, because it matches up with that ring right there. Place it right there. The next piece you're going to place is this metal piece, and actually you might have to go ahead and just pull that small diaphragm out and press it in place. Okay, that took a little bit of doing, but now you can see that the metal spacer right here is seated completely onto the small diaphragm. The next piece that you want to put in place is going to be your metal piece here in the middle. And it goes, make sure you know that the little vent area right there goes down. And now that's in place. The next piece you're going to place is your large diaphragm. This grommet right here is going to be placed into the metal piece here. Hold it steady and press firm. You can go ahead and pull the piece out and check underneath to make sure that it's seated correctly all the way around. I can see here that mine is. Go ahead and place the metal piece back, making sure that this contacts this metal piece here and the vent goes down. Finally, we have the plastic piece that we asked you to hang on to that was part of the original kit. And it's going to be placed over here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out so that I can be very firm about placing it in here. You'll notice that this isn't two-sided, and you're going to want the area with the inner ring right there facing out because that's going to hold the spring. Okay, our plastic ring is now seated correctly, and we need to make sure that the large diaphragm is also seated correctly. Everything looks good and tight and in place, so we can go ahead and lay it back down and make sure that everything fits correctly. Looks good. The last piece we need to place is the spring. One thing you can do, especially if you've made sure to have a level surface, is place the spring right on top. Make sure that the vacuum line is pointing the same direction as the fuel line. Hold it steady and go ahead and thread a couple of your screws to keep your springs and everything else in place. Finally, once you've seated all your screws, you can go ahead and tighten everything down once it looks good. Now the only piece you have left is the O-ring here. That O-ring actually goes on the filter that goes on the on the intake for the Petcock right here. It'll come with an old O-ring. I've actually already removed it. So the only thing you need to do is just roll this right on it. And then it'll seat just nicely down in there. We've now rebuilt the OEM Petcock. This is not the only way that you can go, however, as other aftermarket brands make some Petcocks that some feel that are superior to the stock. For me, I wanted to stay stock but just rebuild it, but you may choose a different direction. I hope you've enjoyed this today. If you have, go ahead and leave some comments. If I used the wrong term, go ahead and leave that in the comments too, and I'll try to fix it. You guys enjoy, and thanks for watching Today in the Garage.